Well, welcome to the Cyber Safety News Show here on the Safety News Network. My name is Adam Blue, and each week I'll dive into the world of cybersecurity, kind of share what's going on, ways you can protect yourself, because there's a lot going on, and a lot of reasons to protect yourself. We're in the new year, looking back at 2023, there's a lot that was going on. There's a lot that's always going on in general, really, honestly. It's just good to always keep abreast of the news so you can, again, protect yourself. The one that we're going to talk about today has to do specifically with Sony. Now, I am a video game enthusiast. I do have another YouTube channel, Blue Gamer, that I talk weekly gaming news, not just news, but even industry insights. I've been following gaming for over 30 years. I have a lot to talk about it, and so when it comes to this news with Sony, I thought it'd be good to talk about it because I've noticed by being part of the gaming industry and the news and all that, people in the gaming industry have no idea how cybersecurity works. They really don't. So when I'm seeing these articles, a lot of times it's like, it doesn't really make sense, I guess what people, like there was a big thing going on where they wanted to be sensitive about talking about a certain company, Isomniac, because there was a leak, but they're like, no, it's not a leak. They were hacked. And I'm like, well, no, technically it is a leak. Hacked data was then leaked because they had security holes. Leaks come through holes. And I think it's almost trying to move blame away from a company as big as Sony that really should have their security locked down, especially with what I'm about to show you. So let's dive into it. Again, hope you all had a good holiday and New Year. Let's jump into this. So this is from Firewall Times. Sony data breaches full timeline through 2023. And a lot of these things are connected. And again, you can have a breach that occurs some time ago and it only just surfaces. And then there's what happens from a breach or a hack. Is this going to get in the way of operations, or is this just leaking personal information, which can still be an issue? Right? And actually, for me, even though I'm already in the cybersecurity world and know the news that's going on, where my worlds collided happened to do with this Isomniac hack. So, Isomniac is a company within PlayStation. Well, I guess it's hard to say exactly. They've made games outside of Sony, but Sony finances the games that then go on PlayStation because they're an incredible developer. While they've had a number of games throughout Sony's PlayStation lifetime, I think what really cemented them as a premier developer was the Spider-Man game, Marvel Spider-Man, that came out in 2017, 2018. I think I forget the exact date. And then they did the Miles Morales expansion. And then Spider-Man 2 came out this year, which, if you're interested in my thoughts on Spider-Man 2, check out my Blue Gamer YouTube channel. But for now, they had announced that they are making a Wolverine game, and if you look at the production value of the Spider-Man games, that just makes people excited for a Wolverine game. But Insomniac got hacked recently, and from this hack, the hackers leaked a build of the Wolverine game, and it was able to then be played on an Xbox dev kit. So think about this, a Sony exclusive got leaked and is playable on an Xbox. That alone is sort of funny. Now, obviously, the issue with this is that, yes, people's data personal data got leaked. But I'm now of the mindset, and I think you should be too, that consider all your personal information leaked. You just have to protect yourself, what people can do with that. Watch your credit, watch your finances, watch for people wanting to leverage your personal information to get into things, mainly finances. But assume all your data is leaked. If a leak happens and people are talking about, oh no, the personal data, it's like, yes, please assume, if you bank with a bank, if you have a cell phone, your data has already been leaked. I'm just gonna tell you right now, your data has been leaked. But it's just about keeping up with your passwords, two-factor authentication, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's what this was framed around. It was like, let's not talk about the Insomniac leak because there's people's lives, their data is out there, and that's wrong. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, it is, but there's some bigger implications here. And somewhere we could pass the blame. Yes, hackers shouldn't be doing this, but a company as big as Sony needs to protect their developers. Like I said, Isomniac is being funded by Sony to make games, but are they being protected by Sony as their data is through Sony systems? So Sony Pictures had a breach in 2014. I don't know if you guys remember that. A lot of information came out, especially about how they were handling Spider-Man and a whole bunch of other things like that. So in 2014, Sony Pictures was hit by a major data breach perpetrated by state-affiliated North Korean hackers. So this was done by North Korea, and I think this really had to do with that movie that was coming out at the time, and I forget the name off the top of my head unless they actually have it in here. It was that James Franco movie, and then what was that other actor, Seth Rogen, where they were in North Korea or whatever. And I think, North Korea wanted to answer back by hacking, and that's the thing. Even like back then, Sony should know, okay, if regardless of if we're calling out a certain state or a certain group of people, we need to have the security up that can defend against that. And they didn't. They got their emails leaked. And then in October 2023, Sony notifies employees of data breach. In early October, Sony notified over 6,000 current and former employees that their data had been compromised by a data breach earlier in the year, October 23. So the breach happened earlier in the year. The attack itself occurred in late May. Okay, there's the exact date. As the part of the Move It attacks, which the Move It has been an ongoing thing and is currently, which comprised hundreds of companies and government agencies. Sony stated that they detected the intrusion on June 2nd and promptly fixed the situation. No, it does not appear that any customer data was implicated in this breach. September 2023, Sony investigates alleged hack. On September 25th, the hacker group Ransom to VC claimed to have stolen 260 gigabytes of proprietary data from Sony. The hacker's description, all of Sony's systems, they posted 6,000 files as a sample of the stolen data, including a PowerPoint presentation and source code files. Another hacker, Major Nelson, which is funny because there is an Xbox ambassador, I think, who's stepped down since. His name is Major Nelson. And I think that's what this play on is here. Someone that's hacking is using the moniker Major Nelson as kind of a console war thing. Claimed credit for the breach on breach forums and stated that ransom VCs are scammers who are just trying to scam you and chase influence. So yeah, they're kind of bringing that up. Sometimes you can hack for money. Sometimes you can just hack for fame. Sony has stated they are investigating the matter and has not offered greater detail on the alleged hack. It does not appear any customer data was implicated in this incident. August 2017, hacker group accesses Sony's social media accounts. December 2014, PlayStation Network taken down by Christmas DDoS attack. 2014, hackers steal 100 terabytes of data from Sony Pictures. We're seeing this. Sony is constantly being attacked. And they're not doing anything to protect Isomniac. And this is kind of what I'm getting at with this episode. We could see a company like Sony, huge company, motion pictures, consumer electronics, and video games, PlayStation being, next to Nintendo, one of the biggest players in the video game market. So you're gonna have tons of consumers, which they're saying no consumer data was leaked, but consumer data was leaked. And I guess also the issue here is, as someone that's in the video game industry, when I am seeing the noise that's going around after the Isomniac attack, it was all about, it's wrong for the press to talk about this attack, to this and that, whatever. Really, what the noise needs to be is, what is Sony doing to protect their assets? They are not. Now, again, sometimes it's inevitable, but just seeing how often Sony has been a target and has had these leaks occur, they need to do something about it, because there are other games, hundreds of games that have never been leaked. There are games that have been leaked, sure, but there are so many that haven't, and it really depends how they're protecting it. Sony is a company big enough to have the best cybersecurity in the world to plug holes in their security. But I've seen this, and the reason I am saying that they have bad security is just even if attackers are constantly trying to get on them, you would see the percentage of attacks versus successful breaches be low, but in this case, it's not. Sony is constantly, and Sony partners are constantly being hacked. I've worked with many large corporations myself, where I've looked at their security and I can see the blatant holes in their security, the way they just basic stuff like main admin accounts not having MFA on them, not restricting access, not protecting sensitive data that they know that they're handling. Like, major companies do this, so I'm just assuming that's what happened here with Sony, this Isomniac attack, the Wolverine game getting out there, the personal information. This is Sony not really up in their game, and I think they should. I don't understand what it is too, where maybe some companies think that they don't have to worry about being hacked, or some companies thinking, I don't know, maybe something comes out of an attack for them, maybe financially, maybe it's a sort of tax insurance thing that happens. I don't know, but this is an example of when you're a big company, and you might work for a big company, you gotta wonder how their security is. Whether you're an affiliate with a big company or working directly with a big company, just like I said earlier about assume your data is going to be leaked, if you have any other things other than personal data, like here it was the code for this game, the Wolverine game, source code. If you have any sort of proprietary data or information or anything that you don't want to get breached or leaked, you have to make sure that the company that you're working with has security measures outside of just securing personal information. So really, the takeaway from this episode is really to be able to call out a big company like Sony, that they are not being safe. They're not being protected. They need to be able to plug these holes because it's affecting the smaller guy, little guy. So, that's it for this episode, a little short, but I thought this was a very interesting thing to happen, and it kind of exposes and shows that it doesn't matter the size of the company, that they just might not be up with their security, and then we can see things like this happening. And what does that mean? Does that mean this Wolverine game that's supposed to come out, are they going to just scrap it, start from the ground up? I highly doubt it. We've had big name games in the past be leaked, Half-Life 2 being one of them. So it happens. But anyway, thanks for watching the Cyber Safety News Show here on the Safety News Network. If you found any of this stuff interesting, please leave a comment below. I'm curious on your take on this Sony hack, the Isomniac leak. Also, subscribe if you haven't. We have a bunch of other programs here on this channel. It's very fun, just to get an idea of the world of safety, whether it's cyber, physical, government, whatever. It's always fun stuff. So anyway, Adam Blue signing off. Thanks for watching. We'll talk later.